before all this nuclear weapons, remember we are still the most danger machine that God ever created.
Yeah.
So we have to bring it back. That's why I am calling you, my brothers, to unite and to begin to be the ambassador of our people globally. We must need to do ourselves, my brother. So
Sure.
Congo has to be in our mind, in our agenda, every week, every month. Just talk about it so we can liberate ourselves once for all. And then make no mistake, people are waking up. We're waking up in the continent, my brother. We're waking up.
I see it.
Yeah, we are waking up. We like a lot before, like 10 years ago, 5 years ago, we used to have puppets in Africa because the Europeans and the America, they understood. Let us destroy their monarchies, kill their great prophets, so we can control them and put puppets in places. That's why we have this the son of devil Eric Prince talking about, oh, we want to recolonize Africa again. He talk about their puppets. You're not really talking about, because literally right now the American power structure, they don't have the military arsenal to recolonize Africa again. No, they're not, because they don't want a full war in the continent, because they need that soil. And when we talk about Africa, we need to bring everybody into the table. The 54 states of Africa, include Jamaica, include the Africans in the United States, need to be on board. And then we also understand within Africa itself, there is countries that they don't feel themselves part of the African family. Make no mistake about it. You look at Egypt, you look at those countries like Morocco, those countries over there, like, they don't really feel part of the African family.
Mm.
But I'm calling those of us who understand that we are one. Even in America, I know there's some people in America, they don't feel themselves being Africans.
Hell no.
So, but I'm talking about those who really understand, okay, Kwabo look like me, I'm look like him, let's go. He's understand what I'm talking about. I understand what he's talking about. Let's go. We're together. I'm not talking about those who want to be out there trying to think they got a lot of money, worship guns and the B words, all this. Now, I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about those who want to fight to liberate our people globally.
We got a bunch of real niggas over here and very few men.
Exactly. That's why, brothers, last but not least, I just want to say it's about time, brother. Because once you embrace your military mindset, you will understand that you must need to protect your family, you must need to protect your community, and then you begin to have a sense of nationhood. Like, okay, I've got to, even in your community, you would say, okay, you know what? I'm going to build my business here. I'm going to build my banks here. I'm going to build my schools here. I'm going to build my businesses here. I'm going to build my places of worship, places of evoke, practice our African spirituality here. So you build everything there. Just like what the Chinese do. Look, and then sometimes, brother, we just have to copy. It's there. We just have to copy what other people do. Look, look at the Chinese. You go anywhere in the world, you see Chinatown. Chinatown is anywhere in this planet. You see Chinatown. And in that Chinatown, they got their businesses, they got everything there. And sometimes we as a people, we even going by there. That's why I want to, I don't know if you got more questions, but all I want to say.
Question. I do got some questions.
Go ahead, man.
One of them that's going to be beneficial to pick your brain. Do you mind if I let about 5 people come on the screen and for about 2 minutes state what they may have to say to you, ask you a question, and give you a moment to answer them? They step down, and I let the next man come up.
I'm ready, brother. I'm ready for any question.
All right. Where's Haru at? He had a lot to say. Haru, you still up in here?
And then all I want to say, brothers, for like, since this is a university, I don't know everything. I'm here to learn as well. Like, just having this conversation with my brother, I'm learning. But most of the thing I'm talking about based on my own experience.
That's right.
I travel around the world. I've studied a lot of governments, the way they operate. I study our history. So I know what I'm talking about is based on what I felt, what I've experienced. Yes, I read a lot of books. I watched a lot of documentaries. But myself, if you don't do anything to empower our people, I won't listen to you.
Man. Oh, man. You feel me?
Yeah, if you like,
over lip service.
I don't care if you're a preacher, because I see a lot of YouTubers, a lot of Facebookers, a lot of preachers. A lot of pimps. They only pimp around our people, pretend like they know everything, but they only talk based on the books. I don't do that. Like, I like to experience. I went to Brazil. I went to the United States. I travel. I invest myself to be able to talk to you. I had to invest my intellect. I had to invest in my body, in my spirit. I've invested myself. And then I had my father, my grandfather, that trained me to understand and understand the spiritual world. That's why what I'm talking to you here, it's not based on the books. It's based on my own experience, based on what my ancestors went through, based on my journey as a man, as a warrior, as a prince, as a son, as a family man, as a husband, as a father. And that's why the discipline must be very, very important.
Hey, man, this is my brother, PZT Book Mafia right here, man. Jadefri Memnon. Jadefri Memnon. This is our good brother right here, Alpha Kawabo Mabula, man. Have at it.
Hotep Alpha Kawabo Mabula, man. Peace for coming and sharing this wisdom with us. This is the second time I watched you, and once again I've gained a whole lot of jewels from listening to you and the brother have this discussion. I wanted to ask quickly, not to take you off your momentum, because I'm enjoying this discussion so much. I'm interested in the African languages. I've wrote 7 books. There's one guy on the continent who bought one of my books, and between each other we go back and forth as to how we can get this done. Maybe have them in some local dialects and stuff. I wanted to know who would be the best person to speak to try and get the ball in motion on that front.
You can hit me up. You can hit me up off air. My suggestion to you, and then we've been fighting with our traditional leaders.
Yeah.
So my suggestion to you is to first translate it in Swahili,
Okay.
because Swahili is the most spoken language in Africa.
Yeah.
So literally, majority of the African countries speak Swahili.
Okay. Yeah, that's
So
a good point.
we're trying to make Swahili as the continental African language,
Okay.
just like you have the English,
Yeah.
they call a business language.
Yeah, they call it the language of trade, right?
Exactly, the language
Yeah.
of trade. We want to make Swahili as the official African language of all African people
Okay.
worldwide.
So that's like the lingua franca of Africa. So it links every
Exactly.
tribe, everybody from every corner.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
you can still, in your tribe, you can still speak your own language.
Yeah,
Yes,
cool.
but at least in terms of trade point of view, when it comes to exchange, cultural exchange, business exchange, we have to have a common language
Yeah.
that we can communicate ourselves
Mhm.
without need of any translation, because
Yes.
we already talking this English language, although originated from our language, but they can easily pick up and then they can easily decode what we are saying here.
And what you're saying is so important because I was explaining to somebody that in ancient Kemet, when we say Egyptians, sometimes we talk about Egyptians like it's just one tribe of people, but there was 42 nomes. There were many, there was probably 100 different tribes in Kemet, and they all had their own tribal languages. So it came to a time, in the time of Menes, when they said, listen, we need a lingua franca, we need an official language so that all the tribes in Egypt can speak it as Egyptian or Kemetian. So again, we've come full circle back to the same time with the same need. Do you understand? It's like it's repeated itself. So I find that very interesting that you say that now, because I never even thought of that myself, even knowing that that's how it was in Kemet. I never thought, yo, Africa needs a lingua franca now, you know? So it's very like, yeah, that's all I wanted to know. In fact, I don't want to take up anyone's time or anything. You've answered the question perfectly. I
No,
thank you
no,
for that.
and then just to what you're saying. Look
Yeah.
at what is happening amongst ourselves as African right now.
Mm.
You've got the francophones, you've got the anglophone, which is the English speakers.
Yeah.
Africans speak English. You got the lusophone, those who
Is that
speak
Arab?
Portuguese.
Okay.
Portuguese,
Okay.
Portuguese, they call lusophone.
Okay.
African brothers in Africa or around the world that speak French, they call them francophone.
Okay. Like shake hand to the up, yeah?
No, francophone means Africans that speak French.
Okay. Well, he
Like
spoke to, yeah.
in Africa, they
Right.
divide us with the border and with the language as well.
Mm.
Because like in our countries in Africa, they made French an official language, Portuguese an official language.
Why do you think that is, can I ask?
They did
Other than the fact that it's for trade and stuff,
no,
but why do you think?
they did purposely to destroy our language.
Mm.
Because once you destroy people's language, you destroy the means of communication.
Mm.
I'm destroying your language. Now I know what you're talking about.
Mm.
Because remember, like in Egypt, all of our communication used to be via writing,
Yeah.
via symbols. You go to Egypt, you still get there's still symbols over there that Europeans they can't even decode
Die
it.
for them, yeah.
So, and that's why in our villages, and they tried, basically what they did is they destroyed our culture, they destroyed our system of spirituality, and they destroyed our language.
Mm.
So by destroy our language, now brothers that live in Burkina Faso, you in the United States, you can't communicate with them because they don't understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But you look, it's your brother, but you don't understand what he's talking about. So just like Angola, used to be a kingdom of Congo. Now you got Angola and you got Congo. Congo, the official language is actually Lingala, African language.
Right.
But before, the official language used to be French. The French,
Colonially.
and then the Angola, the official language is Portuguese.
Okay.
The official language in South Africa is English. The official language in Zimbabwe is English. So once you make that as official language, then you destroy your own language.
And that's for the comfort of the powers that be.
Exactly. So that's why rescue, bring it back our language, is a way of us understanding each other, having a private conversation without all of them knowing what we're talking about.
Yeah, there's that as well. And also, can I add this, because that's a great point how you put it there. But also, the way that we speak is the same way that we think, because speech and thinking is linked. So
Exactly.
if they destroy our language now and then render us in English, if you speak English and only English, then you think like an Englishman. If you speak French for your first language, then you think like a Frenchman. So although they colonized the world, they colonized our minds too, and that's why we're having problems now in unity, because we're still thinking with the wrong. We have to really restructure the way we speak and think by going away from English and studying Swahili and different languages, so we can learn to think like our ancestors fought, and then we can fight differently. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Hey, you remember we used to talk about that in class, right? You know, like, we need to come up with a dead language that nobody has spoken in a long time, so that we can set ourselves apart and dedicate ourselves to learning that. Hey, you said that Swahili is about to be the national language for the continent. Maybe that could be a primary focus right now, you know what I'm saying, short distance wise. Like, let's learn Swahili,
You definitely, for us, because when we travel,
Africa,
it makes it easier.
Exactly. And as African, although we even speak English, but we speak English with swag. Sometimes they don't even understand what we're talking about anyway. So just like the Portuguese, like I speak several languages, but in Angola, the Portuguese colonize Angola and implement their language, Portuguese. But even the Portuguese, we speak with slang. They don't even understand it. So that's just a way of trick. Just like when you go to Compton, you go to Bronx, you go to Florida. So sometimes our English, those people that live in Washington, D.C., those little white boys, they don't understand what we're talking about.
Look, I'm half Jamaican. I understand totally, brother.
You see, so that's why they create the patois. So we talking. They're like, what the fuck were they talking about? So,
and you see, we did that deliberately so that the slave master couldn't understand us.
exactly.
We deliberately. It's not that we couldn't speak English. They started to move the troublemakers. If you make trouble in Jamaica, they ship you to Antigua, and Antigua to Barbados. They started mixing it. So we came up with the patois, so they couldn't understand what we were saying. Do you understand?
That's why, brother. You know what they did is all the rebels, the warriors ones, they put them over there in the islands because they like, we can't control them. These motherfuckers in the continent. Let me tell you. Let me tell you, they like, we can't control these motherfuckers in the continent. Let's split them out. Put them right in the islands.
Listen, this is a true story here, because now you're speaking about my other side, Antigua. A lot of people don't know this. In the 16th century, in New England, in America, there was a tribe there called the Nanzatico tribe, and they were so troublesome. They got enough guns to fight the white people. You know what they did? They shipped them all to Antigua. Today we call them Antiguans. We think they came from Africa. They didn't. They came from New England. Do you understand? That's where my dad's from. So me and my cousin was digging, and we came across the tribe, the pictures. I posted it on my Instagram, like, wow, I found my family. I need to go to New England. And they showed me.
And not only that, brother, like thousands and thousands of years ago, we used to live in this land. So that's why when they talk about, oh, we took everybody from Africa and put them in Jamaica, we were already there.
Of course,
We
Taínos, Aztecs, everything.
People
yeah,
forget about Pangea.
yeah,
You know what I'm
we
saying?
were,
They forget that it was all one landmass
yeah,
once upon a time.
we were already there. But one of the biggest mistakes they made is, okay, they took some of our warriors in Africa, they put them in Jamaica, and then they mixed with those ones that were there, and they created fire on them. So they had to separate them. And then guess what? Look at the history of Haiti, Jean-Jacques Dessalines. So they gave the business of the French. They slaughtered the French.
Yeah.
Slaughtered them.
80,000 of them under General Leclerc, right?
Yo, y'all the one that set them off though.
They slaughtered them. So that being said, my brother, no matter, they try. We know that quote, like, we never die, we multiply.
Yeah.
So
we return.
They try to get rid of us. But we too many. When they take 10 down, 20 come up.
That's right.
So and that's why now we live in the age that they are self-destroying themselves with all this LGBT, with all this, they destroying themselves. So it'll come a point that there's no way they can control all of us. And that's why, my brother, having this connection, building this connection, it means a lot.
Because yeah, definitely. Salute to Crazy Horse, man. And yo.
Peace, brother.
Yeah.
You already know, man. Hey,
yeah, bro.
I got y'all, man. I got y'all. I'm gonna link y'all up.
I don't want to stay on the live yet because I